You may think that eating fruit at night is one of the healthiest habits you can have. After all, fruit is natural, packed with vitamins, and often recommended as a safe snack. But the truth is far more alarming. There is one type of fruit, especially when eaten late at night before sleep, that can quietly raise your risk of stroke overnight. I have treated patients who believed they were making the best choices for their health, only to wake up with sudden dizziness, slurred speech, or weakness on one side of the body. What they never realized is that not all fruit is safe, and the timing of when you eat it matters just as much as what you eat. The hidden danger lies in how certain fruits affect your blood sugar, blood pressure, and circulation during the hours when your brain is most vulnerable. At night, your body slows down, your metabolism rests, and sudden spikes in sugar or vascular strain can become far more dangerous than during the day. This is why understanding the risks of late-night fruit is not optional. It is essential for protecting your brain. In this video, I will reveal why not all fruit is safe at night, the specific fruit that raises stroke risk overnight, the science behind how it harms your brain and blood vessels, and most importantly, the safer alternatives and timing that will keep you healthy. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. And if you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to make better content for you. Part 1. Why fruit is not always safe at night. The first truth you need to understand is that not every fruit is safe, especially when consumed late at night. Many people believe fruit is always healthy, no matter the time. But the body reacts differently depending on when you eat it. During the day, your metabolism is active, your muscles are working, and your body can process sugars and nutrients more effectively. At night, however, the body begins to slow down. The brain prepares for rest. Insulin sensitivity drops, and digestion becomes less efficient. When you eat certain types of fruit before bedtime, particularly those high in natural sugars, you create sudden spikes in blood sugar at the very time your system is least able to handle them. This does not just affect your waistline or sleep quality. It places stress on your blood vessels and heart places. High sugar fruits consumed at night can trigger rapid rises in blood glucose, forcing the body to release large amounts of insulin. This sudden shift can cause blood pressure to fluctuate, blood vessels to constrict, and circulation to the brain to become unstable. For someone with underlying risks like hypertension, diabetes, or hardened arteries, this can be the perfect storm for a stroke during the night or early morning hours. The danger is magnified because nighttime is when the body is least prepared to respond. Heart rate slows, blood pressure naturally drops, and metabolism is at its lowest. Adding the sudden burden of high sugar intake at this time can tip the balance from stability to crisis. I have seen patients who woke up at dawn with weakness on one side or difficulty speaking, all because the stress of late-night eating pushed their already fragile circulation over the edge. The belief that fruit is always harmless leads many people into this trap. While the vitamins and fiber in fruit are valuable, the timing of consumption changes the effect. At night, even a natural source of sugar can act like a hidden trigger for vascular stress. This does not mean fruit should be avoided completely, but it does mean awareness is crucial. Eating fruit at the wrong time can quietly increase risks without any warning signs until it is too late. If this explanation has surprised you, Wait until you hear about the next part, where I will reveal the hidden danger of high sugar fruits before sleep and explain exactly why they can raise stroke risk overnight. Part 2. The hidden danger of high sugar fruits before sleep. The second truth that you must know is how high sugar fruits eaten at night can silently raise your stroke risk. Fruits such as mangoes, grapes, lychees, and bananas contain high amounts of natural sugar, known as fructose. While fructose is natural, it still behaves like other sugars in the body. When consumed right before sleep, these fruits cause a sharp rise in blood glucose at the very time your metabolism is slowing down. The pancreas must release a surge of insulin to handle this spike, and that sudden fluctuation can set off a chain of harmful effects. First, the blood becomes thicker and stickier, increasing the risk of clots forming in narrowed arteries. Second, blood pressure can rise rapidly as vessels tighten in response to the metabolic stress. Third, circulation to the brain can become unstable, leaving certain areas vulnerable to ischemia or bleeding. For older adults, who often already have stiffened arteries or hidden vascular disease, this sudden strain during the night can trigger a stroke with no warning. Another hidden danger is the rebound effect. After the initial spike in blood sugar, insulin may push levels down too quickly, creating a drop known as reactive hypoglycemia. This can disturb sleep, trigger night sweats or palpitations, and in some cases lead to sudden awakening with dizziness or weakness. The brain is extremely sensitive to these fluctuations, and when oxygen and glucose delivery are unstable, neurons are at risk. Studies in journals of neurology and cardiology have consistently shown that nighttime glucose spikes and swings are linked to increased risk of both heart attack and stroke. The timing of these events is not random. Many strokes and cardiac arrests occur in the early morning hours, when the body is already under natural vascular stress. Adding high sugar fruit at night is like pouring fuel on a smoldering fire. Patients often tell me they thought fruit was the safest snack before bed. Yet their nightly bowl of grapes or banana milkshake was quietly working against their health. What feels refreshing can in fact be a sugar trap in disguise. The lesson is clear. High sugar fruits are best consumed during the day when the body is active. Insulin sensitivity is higher, and glucose can be burned for energy. At night, they become silent triggers for vascular instability. If this truth has alarmed you, wait until you hear about the next part, where I will explain how late-night fruit affects the brain and blood vessels directly, and why the danger can strike suddenly in your sleep. Part 3. How late-night fruit affects the brain and blood vessels. The third truth you must understand is how late-night fruit consumption directly affects your brain and blood vessels. When you eat fruit late in the evening, especially those high in natural sugars, your digestive system is forced into action at a time when your body is preparing to rest. Instead of winding down, your pancreas releases insulin, your liver processes excess sugar, and your cardiovascular system must adapt to rapid fluctuations. These changes are not harmless. They create stress on the vascular system at the very time it should be stable. During the night, blood pressure naturally dips, heart rate slows, and the brain enters restorative cycles. But when sugar spikes occur from late-night fruit, blood pressure may rise suddenly. Vessels constrict, and blood flow to the brain becomes erratic. For someone with hypertension, diabetes, or hardened arteries, this imbalance can trigger a stroke while they are sleeping. Another danger is the impact on cerebral circulation. The brain is highly sensitive to oxygen and glucose supply. Late-night spikes, followed by sudden drops, can deprive certain regions of stable blood flow, leading to dizziness, morning headaches, or even ischemic events. In some cases, the disruption contributes to small vessel disease, which builds silently over time and increases the likelihood of both stroke and cognitive decline. Beyond circulation, high sugar fruit at night also disrupts sleep itself. Sudden metabolic activity can cause restless sleep, frequent awakenings, or morning fatigue. Poor sleep is not only frustrating, it is also a known risk factor for cardiovascular disease and stroke. Studies have shown that disturbed sleep, combined with unstable glucose and blood pressure, amplifies vascular risk dramatically. Patients often report that they wake up feeling foggy, weak, or lightheaded after late-night snacking on fruit. These are not just minor inconveniences. They are signals that the brain and blood vessels were under stress during the night. The risk becomes even greater in older adults, where vascular flexibility is reduced. Arteries may already be partially blocked, and the margin for error is small. In these individuals, what seems like an innocent snack can become the final trigger for a vascular event. The brain does not tolerate sudden shocks well, and nighttime is when it is least equipped to recover from them. The lesson is undeniable. Late-night fruit consumption is not just about calories or sugar. It is about how those sugars strain the very systems that keep your brain alive. If this has made you reconsider your nighttime habits, stay with me for the next part, where I will reveal safer fruit choices and the right timing to enjoy them without risking your brain or your blood vessels. Part 4. Safer fruit choices and healthy timing. The fourth truth you must take seriously is that while some fruits at night can raise your stroke risk, not all fruit is dangerous when consumed wisely. The key is both the type of fruit and the timing. Choosing fruits with lower sugar content and higher fiber allows the body to digest more slowly, preventing sudden glucose spikes. Examples include berries such as blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. These are rich in antioxidants and fiber, which protect blood vessels and support brain health. Apples, pears, and kiwis are also safer options when eaten earlier in the day, as they provide vitamins without overwhelming your system with sugar. Citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits can be beneficial too, but they are best enjoyed in the morning or afternoon when your metabolism is more active. Timing matters because your body's ability to process sugar is highest during daylight hours. Eating fruit in the morning or as a midday snack allows glucose to be used as energy rather than stored or left to disrupt your circulation overnight. After dinner, particularly close to bedtime, your body is shifting into a resting state. Introducing sugar at that point forces your system into unnecessary activity, which can strain your heart and brain. A good rule is to stop eating fruit at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Another important point is portion control. Even healthy fruits become harmful if consumed in excess. A large plate of mangoes or grapes is not the same as a small handful of berries. Moderation ensures that you receive the nutritional benefits without triggering metabolic stress. For patients with diabetes, hypertension, or heart disease, working with a healthcare provider to identify safe fruit choices and proper timing is essential. Monitoring blood sugar after fruit consumption can also reveal how your body responds. Beyond the fruit itself, pairing fruit with protein or healthy fats, such as a few nuts, can slow sugar absorption and reduce spikes. This simple adjustment can make fruit safer and more balanced as part of your diet. Remember, the goal is not to avoid fruit entirely, but to enjoy it in a way that supports brain and heart health rather than undermines it. I often remind my patients that fruit is medicine when taken correctly, but can be poison when used carelessly. By selecting low-sugar fruits, eating them earlier in the day, and keeping portions reasonable, you protect your blood vessels, your brain, and your long-term health. If this has given you clarity, stay with me for the conclusion, where I will tie everything together and show you how one simple change in fruit habits can protect your brain from stroke and safeguard your future. Conclusion: protect your brain by rethinking late-night fruit. We have reached the conclusion, and the message could not be clearer. Fruit is often seen as the safest food, yet when eaten at the wrong time and in the wrong form, it can quietly raise your risk of stroke overnight. You now know why not all fruit is safe at night, how high sugar fruits create dangerous spikes that strain your circulation, how late night eating disrupts your brain and blood vessels, and finally, how safer fruit choices and healthy timing can transform a risk into a benefit. Stroke is sudden, unpredictably, and often deadly. But much of its danger comes from daily habits that seem harmless. The mistake many people make is believing that natural sugar cannot harm them, that a plate of grapes or a ripe mango before bed is a healthy choice. The truth is that your body does not distinguish between natural and refined sugar when it comes to metabolic stress. At night, when your system is vulnerable, even natural sugar can become a silent trigger for disaster. But the good news is that this risk is entirely within your control. By shifting your fruit consumption to earlier in the day, by choosing low sugar and high fiber options, and by practicing moderation, you give your brain and blood vessels the stability they need to recover, rest, and remain strong. Your body still remembers how to heal, and your brain still holds incredible resilience. But only if you protect it with the right choices. As a brain doctor, I urge you not to ignore this truth. The next time you reach for fruit before bed, stop and think about what it may be doing to your brain while you sleep. Share this knowledge with your loved ones, because awareness is the first step in prevention. Stroke steals independence, memory, and life itself. But it does not have to be your fate. Now, I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you will change about your fruit habits after watching this. Type 1 in the comments if this has been valuable for you. Type 0 if you want me to improve. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Together we can protect our brains, safeguard our futures, and live longer, healthier, and stronger lives.